The Honourable Member for Kenora.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. And in June of 2019, the member for Sault Ste. Marie, the Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister responsible for the Economic Development Initiative for Northern Ontario, announced $800,000 of funding, FedNor funding, for the tech company Skritswap. It's nearly a year and a half later. Sault Ste. Marie has seen very little, if any, benefit to their economy as a result of that. When this company applied for FedNor funding, they listed the Sault Ste. Marie Innovation Centre as their corporate address, but the director of the Innovation Centre has said publicly that this company does not use their facilities. Perhaps they use them, for forwarding their mail to their more permanent address, and occasionally they will borrow a desk from time to time. So the director actually contacted FedNor after Skritswap's funding was announced, and they were concerned that the company wasn't actively trying to hire local workers. We know that the vast majority of this company's labor force is based out of Southern Ontario, and they have job positions and job postings across BC and in California as well, Madam Speaker. So there really is no sign that they've used their FedNor funding to create a single job in Sault Ste. Marie or in Northern Ontario for that matter. And as our party's shadow minister for the FedNor file, I was actually contacted by constituents from Sault Ste. Marie, and they were wondering how economic development funding is, how economic development funding that has been earmarked for Northern Ontario can possibly end up going to a company that operates largely, if not entirely, out of the South. Madam Speaker, the purpose of FedNor, if I'm not mistaken, is to help support the economy and create opportunities for businesses and workers in Northern Ontario. And I wonder, and my constituents have raised this to me after I raised the issue in question period, I wonder how many deserving businesses in Sault Ste. Marie, but also in Sudbury and Timmins and Thunder Bay and across my riding of Kenora, potentially in Dryden or Sioux Lookout or many of the communities I represent, how many of these companies were passed over for funding in favor of this company, which appears to have nothing more than a P.O. box in the region. It does not seem fair to many people across Northern Ontario. So as I mentioned, I raised this question to the minister in question period, but unfortunately she avoided the question and went on to talk about the government's pandemic relief, seemingly unaware of what question I was asking. So I'd like to give the opportunity for this government to address this once again, and I'm wondering if the parliamentary secretary can tell me and tell members of this House and all Canadians, particularly those in his riding, how many jobs were created in Sault Ste. Marie as a result of this FedNor funding.
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Economic Development and Official Languages.
Well, thank you, Madam Speaker, and I'm happy to respond to comments made earlier by the member of Kenora regarding repayable funding provided to Skritswap in 2019 by the Federal Economic Development Initiative for Northern Ontario, or FedNor. Right from the get-go, let me make one thing very clear to set the member opposite mind at ease. This federal contribution is a loan, not a no-strings-attached grant. Whatever money has gone to Skritswap, it has been with the very clear condition that if the company fails to meet its goal of growing business in Northern Ontario, it will need to pay back the funds in full. We invested in Skritswap because our government understands the importance of investing in Northern Ontario to create good jobs and grow the economy. FedNor has long been a key partner for entrepreneurs in Northern Ontario, and they've worked with businesses and entrepreneurs to build stronger communities. We've seen this loud and clear throughout the COVID pandemic. Through our Regional Recovery and Relief Fund, FedNor has supported more than 130 organizations with more than $23 million. Through this funding, we've directly supported more than 1,800 jobs. Further, these grants have gone to organizations that show the diversity of our region. As of October 15th, 33 RRF recipients are women-owned or operated. 16 are Indigenous businesses, 43 are tourism businesses, and 112 are located in rural areas. This same goes for FedNor-funded community future organizations. To date, we've provided more than $22 million to nearly 650 organizations, and we're directly supported more than 1,500 jobs here. Of these community future clients, 247 are women-owned and operated, 44 are Indigenous businesses, 224 are tourism businesses, and all 645 are in rural areas. These are important numbers because they show time and again that our government is there for businesses in Northern Ontario in all these ridings when those businesses have needed help. I'll also note that it's strange that the Conservative Party is focused on this in particular. For whatever reason, they've decided to dust off a story which was initially reported in the summer of 2019, and to which we've consistently said that the money will be repaid if the company fails to meet its goal of creating jobs in Northern Ontario. They may not be proud of the work FedNor does, and they may want to discourage other women entrepreneurs from entering the tech field in Northern Ontario, but we're proud to be helping entrepreneurs create jobs in my riding of Sault Ste. Marie and across Northern Ontario. I'd also like to take the moment to talk about this company, Skritswap, because it's clear the Conservatives would like to muddy the waters. Since 2015, the company has received attention for its work on artificial intelligence and has attracted venture capital, not just from FedNor, but from angel investors from Canada and the United States. They've done this while headquartered in Sault Ste. Marie. Contrary to what the Conservatives claim, Skritswap reports having no employees located outside of Canada, let alone in California. They have 4 permanent employees, 2 in Northern Ontario, 2 located in Southern Ontario, and on top of that, they've created 16 temporary skilled contract jobs across Canada since the pandemic began. The company understands that any jobs created from their FedNor funding need to be created in Northern Ontario, or else they'll have to repay it all in full. Of course, Skritswap faces the challenges of how to recruit and retain talent in Northern Ontario, and we understand that many entrepreneurs across Northern Canada face the same challenges. That's why our government is supporting immigration to rural Canada through programs like the Rural and Northern Immigration Pilot, which is helping entrepreneurs, employers find the talent they need to compete and which will help our rural communities prosper. The reality is that these companies are exactly the type of business that Northern Ontario and Canada need. These are the jobs of the future. To support these job creators, we must continue to work to address the skills gap in the region and to invest in entrepreneurs. We're proud of how FedNor is working with the Sault Ste. Marie Innovation Centre, Algoma University, Sault College to identify good opportunities. We're proud to be a government.
Honourable member for Kenora.
Thank you again, Madam Speaker, and to address the comments from the Parliamentary Secretary, the reason I'm bringing this forward in the House of Commons now is because the constituents in his riding asked me to, because he was refusing to listen to them, and for good reason. They asked me to investigate this because the answer of how many jobs this company has created in Northern Ontario seems to be 0, as I asked the Minister a direct question, and throughout the 5 minutes that he had to respond, he wasn't able to address it. And I would advise the Parliamentary Secretary that if they want to grow the economy in Northwestern Ontario, they can provide support to businesses in Northern Ontario. So I'd like to know under what criteria was the company deemed eligible to receive FedNor funding, and what methods and what ways is FedNor going to monitor the success or lack thereof of this funding, particularly as it pertains to Skritswap. Thank you.
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Madam Speaker, again, we thank the member opposite for his concerns, but we need to remember the facts. As we have said consistently, this money came with the condition that if the promised jobs aren't created in Northern Ontario, then the loan needs to be repaid. We've made that clear to the company, and the company has informed FedNor on several occasions that they understand this condition. We made this money available because we're committed to supporting entrepreneurs in Northern Ontario. We do that by continuing to invest in Canadian entrepreneurs and business to ensure they have the funding they need to benefit from cutting-edge opportunities and help them provide opportunities in Northern Ontario to forge rewarding, high-paying careers in emerging high-tech fields. This funding was available even before COVID-19, and we've continued to support these vital sectors of the economy since the pandemic began. I can assure the member that we'll continue to be there to grow Northern Ontario's economy and create good jobs in the region after the pandemic is over. Merci beaucoup.